within a week, the news came out that she had filed for divorce.
Mm.
Right? So it's just like this house of cards that fell apart.
Yeah.
But then the business side of me, I'm like, "Ooh, I wonder how the brand is gonna suffer or
Will the
how
brand survive it?
will the brand survive this because
Probably not.
you've built your content on your relationship." Right? That was your like the product you're delivering to the world was entertainment based on your relationship.
Welcome to Married to the Startup. I'm Alicia McKenzie, a wellness entrepreneur and digital creator. Alongside me is my amazing husband, George, the CEO who's always ready for a new challenge. We've been navigating marriage and running startups for over a decade, and we're here to share the real, unfiltered journey with you. Join us for insights and candid conversations about integrating love, family, and entrepreneurship. This is Married to the Startup, where every day is a new adventure.
Welcome to episode 59 of Married to the Startup. I'm your host, Alicia McKenzie.
I'm George.
Good
And
job.
this is the news that matters. No.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we talk about Desmond and Christy?
I don't even know who they are, but yes.
Scott? You know who they are. You've seen their stuff.
You've told me about them. Yes.
I know that you have seen their content.
Okay, sure.
And what really bothers me is that when I see a couple on Instagram, like beautifully famous, have 2 children, have the world, like you look at them and they seemed aspirational.
Okay.
And then you find out one of them is cheating.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's more common than uncommon.
I know, but why?
Because I think it lends more credence to the fact that most of what you see online isn't real.
I know.
Right? So, I mean, the only thing that's going to tip me over the edge is if Chip and Joanna Gaines break up.
Oh
Like,
my
if something
gosh.
happens there, then I'm like, I'm done. I'm not going to invest any credence into online or TV personas.
Ugh, it's so sad.
Yeah, I mean, I just think one, it's a lot of societal pressure when you're famous in a relationship, but then two, you just don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So all you see is 15-second snippets on Instagram or YouTube or whatever it's
I
on, right? You
know.
don't see the other 24 hours of the day or 23 hours of the day of what's going on.
And I've always had this theory that the happier a couple seems online, the closer they are to divorce. And the only reason I came up with this theory that we had friends in the past and they started like posting a lot of like, I love my husband. I'm da 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 da. Like we've got a great, strong relationship, super powerful, and he's got a great career. I've got a great career. And then I would say like within 3 months they were divorced or they were like had filed for divorce.
Yeah, I think it's
One of them was cheating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that sounds about right. It happens quite frequently, but yeah, I think talking with, reading a lot of relationship things. I always read those because it's fun.
Or
But
because your algorithm feeds them to you.
yes, exactly. My flip book feeds those to me, but I read tons. But I think it's genuinely that way. Like a lot of times, if someone is incredibly affectionate in social settings, a lot of times they're only affectionate in social settings and they do it performatively to kind of mask or cover up the fact that there is no attraction there anymore, or there is no love there, there is no affection there. So they put on the show when they're out in public like a narcissist because they want to be seen as having a great relationship and being super into their spouse, and then as soon as like they go home, like everything's off. And yeah, that would be a terrible way to live. But I think a lot of people do that, and it's very performative. For the 20 minutes that they spend filming the 15-second snippet, it's all fun. Or like if it's like Instagram or influencers in the wild. I used to love watching some of those videos.
Yeah.
But I saw one the other day that got fed to me on Flipbook or something, but it was basically someone on the balcony, like zoomed down on a couple, like looking out over the sunset. And you could see them, they're standing there and they look lovingly. And then they just break and they go over to look at the camera and they come back and they said something. And then they go back and they go back to this lovingly pose. And you're like, that's so typical, right? It's very unauthentic.
Inauthentic.
Inauthentic, unauthentic, whatever.
Yeah.
It's fake. Fake news.
So once I got past the heartbreak of their splitting,
Hmm. You were
right?
emotionally invested?
Well, I think I was because, like I said, they seemed aspirational. They seemed like they had it all together. They just went through this massive house build in, I think it was Texas somewhere. They built their forever dream home and they posted their forever dream home on all over social media. And then I would say within a week, the news came out that she had filed for divorce.
Mm.
Right? So it's just like this house of cards that fell apart.
Yeah.
But then the business side of me, I'm like, "Ooh, I wonder how the brand is gonna suffer or
Will the
how
brand survive?
will the brand survive this because
Probably not.
you've built your content on your relationship." Right? That was your I don't even know, like the product you're delivering to the world was entertainment based on your relationship.
Right. So the question is her personality strong enough that she can carry it with a backup player?
I don't know. And his brand was he's a chef.
Yeah. Maybe he has to yeah. We'll see if the two brands can survive on their own.
So that's what happens when you build a brand on celebrity. And then when that celebrity either goes away or doesn't translate to dollars, doesn't translate to the
Business.
ability
Yeah.
to business, how does that work? And I think that that's kind of what spurred the subject for today, right? It got me thinking about all of the celebrity brands that we've either seen start and fail or still use today, like Jordans
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Beats, or like I was just thinking of all of the brands that were built on celebrity. What is the difference between a brand that survives and one that doesn't?
Hmm.
Right? So celebrity brands are everywhere and they're taking this one person and they're turning it into a machine. But I think the problem lies when you take that celebrity brand and you don't put a solid team behind them.
Right. I think to your point, the ones that have survived and are the ones that succeed, like Jordans, or you can even see Kylie Jenner and some of they've all been paired with an operational team of experts that
Mhm.
understand how to take the marketing that a celebrity can do and take that into operations and be able to industrialize it and scale it and sell it.
Yes.
And the people that don't have that backing seem to often falter because being a great marketer doesn't always translate to being great at business.
Absolutely. I actually think it means the opposite,
Right.
right? You're really good at marketing, but you have no idea about the business side of things.
Right. So you got to be paired up with people that, are able to counterbalance you and be able to provide the things that you may lack and
Mhm.
being able to stay in your lane as an owner or as a founder and understand, okay, this is what I really do well and I'm going to focus on this and be able to have other people focus on the things that I don't do well.
Absolutely. Do you think that ego plays into this?
Um, Especially with celebrity, a billion
Yes.
percent. Sure. Yeah. Because it's really hard. Athletes, even business folk, anybody who's been really successful, it's hard to stay humble and know that you didn't get there alone. And I think a
Mhm.
lot of times, especially if you're a celebrity whose brand and status is all about them,
Yeah.
like you're a professional athlete like Michael Jordan, or you're a singer and the talent is yours, or you're an online personality and it's you. It's really hard to disassociate that success and say, oh, that success is because of the team of everyone around me versus it's me, I made that success.
Yeah.
And then saying, oh, can I foresee a time or a business that I wouldn't be successful in?
Yes. So, and one of the brands that really comes to the forefront of my mind, and it's only because it was really influential during that period in time, was House of Darion, which is Beyonce Knowles' first clothing brand.
And you know what's funny is I had never heard of it until you sent that to me
I
today. Never
know.
heard of it at all.
I know. Right? Like, I mean, you're 10 years older than me.
Yeah,
And
never heard of it once.
and when it came out, like I think it was the 90s, right? That was when Destiny's Child was really big. Can You Pay My Bills? Like she had this huge aura of just everything that teen girls wanted to be.
Right. And I think it was on the heels of didn't wasn't Fubu out then, and it was
Yeah, it was
like a couple of the rappers had
Juicy
clothing. Yeah,
Couture and
yeah.
like all
Okay.
of the big brands that
They were translating kind of the music success into, you know,
yeah,
clothing.
yes. And I never had the ass to be able to fill out the Juicy Couture sweatpants.
Mm,
Very sad.
juicy.
I tried. But anyways, House of Darion.
Never heard of it. Got it.
Never heard of it. Beyonce Knowles' debut clothing line,
Mhm.
and it was Beyonce Knowles. So you think that her influence and her star power should have been enough to carry this brand.
Right. You would
It
think on its face,
You
but
would
then you
think.
you realize that business is more than just a front person.
And back then, I had no clue, right?
Right.
Like, I don't know
You're just
why
like,
it
"Oh, why
failed.
does it fail?" Yeah.
Yeah, right? It was a big cultural moment. It had distribution within, I think it was Macy's and a bunch of other stores that I mean, I could never afford it, right?
Right.
Because during that time in my life, like we were very boom and bust, and that was a bust period.
Mhm.
Right? So that was, but I loved it. It was something I aspired to want to be able to buy one day.
Yeah.
And then they went away.
Yeah. Doing some research on it, it's interesting, like, the dynamics between what we were just talking about in this company is that, she started it with her parents
Yes.
and her sister, and it was really around kind of bringing to life her aunt or
It was
grandmother's
our grandmother.
grandmother's kind of fashion sense and saying, "Hey, we're taking runway to the sidewalk." I don't know if that was the slogan, but something like that, right?
Yes.
And it and I think founders get in this trap a lot, and I know I've fallen victim to it at least at points. Is you're so passionate about what you're doing, and I think she obviously was passionate about the fashion industry, and she wanted to do that, and then she was so her identity was so tied to bringing her grandmother's kind of stuff to life, and she was designing products for a market that didn't really exist, right? So
Yes.
she was creating things she liked and things she wanted. And I think you have that a lot in the company when you're building a software platform or you're building, you build, if you don't get customer feedback and you're not out there engaging in the marketplace, you're going to start to build things around what you want or what you think is the market. And then in reality, there isn't a market for that. Like, so she was taking things that were very runway-esque, which has a very small market, and then saying, "Oh, I want to take that thing that drives that market and take it to the sidewalk market, which is a much larger market, but it's a much different purchasing. Their purchasing power is much different. How they buy is much different, and you kind of blend in the two and not really solving a problem,
Mhm.
and creating or at least identifying what the market is. And yeah, they went through that. Like, I think we've referenced Silicon Valley on this show like 10 times, but there's another
It's
episode in
such a good
Silicon
show.
yeah, in Silicon Valley where they build the platform for the product
Yes.
and like, "Oh, that's amazing." And they're like, "Oh, we gotta send it out to get, beta alpha tested." So he sends it out to all his friends, which are all engineers, and they're all like raving about how awesome it is. And then the woman who's one of the investors gets access, and then she's like, "I don't understand this.
I
This
don't
sucks. That
Yeah.
doesn't." And they're like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. All the feedback is positive. Everyone loves it." And then they launch, and then it fucking fails because the market that they were designing for is not the market that is the ones that are actually buying it or using it.
Yes, and one of the founders of, one of the companies we're gonna talk about later, Skims,
Yeah.
he said that the difference between his company and other companies is the customer feedback loop. He said he has a very strong customer feedback loop through social media, through their reviews, so on and so forth, in that whenever they get negative feedback, like, they take it and run with it.
Yeah. That's a good philosophy to have instead of, a lot of times you
Instead
don't
of
want to,
dismissing
yeah,
it.
you want to dismiss the negative because, no one likes to,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
hear
I do it
negative
as an
comments about
author,
themselves. Yeah.
right? Like, I don't read any of my negative
Right. But if
reviews.
you're a product owner and you're constantly evolving the product, you need to take that feedback and
Yeah,
sure, there's going to be some you just weed out, but you at least need to acknowledge it.
yeah, absolutely. So, the problem here with House of Darion, is that the celebrity was the strategy,
Right.
right?
Didn't
Oh,
solve a problem like the runway to the sidewalk. There was no like demand for that. No one was
no.
saying, "Oh, I wish to God I could have this 70s style mixed with 40s
Mhm.
flair or vice versa, whatever."
Yes.
I don't know what their strategy
I
was,
think
but
it was 70s. It was like a
yeah. So I
70s.
mean, it was a cool concept, but there was no market demand. It wasn't solving a problem
Yes. It was just creating a product when you
based on a
don't
passion. Yeah.
quite have your customer
Yeah.
defined in
Yeah.
your
That
head.
customer persona and the market wasn't identified, and you kind of just
Mhm.
said, "Hey, I like this. I want to honor my grandmother. This is a passion thing for me. I
Yes.
think it's amazing. I love it. I would buy it." And it turns out nobody else would.
And then problem number 2, it was family run.
Yes, she didn't have the business acumen. Like,
Mhm.
especially in clothing, I can imagine it's a lot with. logistics and distribution
Yes.
and manufacturing. There's a lot that goes into it. And if you don't understand that supply chain, probably risky.
Yeah. Especially back in the 90s when you had so many other clothing brands that were popping up left and right. Like you had
Mhm.
your Guesses and you had oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of the brands that I wore, which I was in New York yesterday with our 13-year-old and we walked past Puma and she's like, "Oh, let's go in and get a pair of wedge sneakers." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Has that really come back around?" I was like, "Michaela, you realize I was wearing wedge sneakers like 15, 20 years ago." She's like, "No, you weren't."
The Puma tracksuits and the
I just
backwards
all of
kangaroo
it. It's
hats.
like I love how cyclical fashion
Yeah.
is. It makes me so happy because I don't like to get rid of stuff and then
Hmm. Well, you see, like the jeans with all the holes in them and everything, and then just reminds me of, remember used jeans when they were a thing?
no.
The used brand, used jeans. No,
Wait, used
yeah,
jeans?
that was the name of the brand.
So it was like the golden goose of jeans?
Yeah, I guess so. But they would like purposely have the holes, and then they'd have like patches under the holes, and it would say
Really?
like used, and yeah, it was a big thing. And it'd be
Wait,
like acid wash too.
what decade was this?
I think it was early '90s, maybe late '80s.
I don't
I
believe
think it
that.
was '90s.
Was that?
I think it was early '90s.
Interesting. Yeah, I wasn't I also wore a uniform in school, so
Yeah, well, in '90s you were also in elementary
how old was I in the 90s? It was great. I love the 90s.
school. Okay.
Back to it. Where were we?
All the things that went wrong with House of whatever.
House of Darion.
Darion. The first problem is the name.
Can you stop? It's a family name. You're not allowed to make fun of it.
Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of family names doesn't mean they're great brands.
But House of Darion, and I was just gonna say something, but I forgot. Oh, something about culture.
Hmm.
Did I say
House of
culture?
Lannister. Just throw out a name.
Yeah.
That's from Game of Thrones. In case you didn't know.
I did not know that.
Okay, well now you know. They
Okay.
always pay their debts,
Yes.
apparently.
Yes. So lessons from the brands that fail, right? Visibility is not infrastructure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it helped with the launch. Like they had probably immediate coverage, and that's the hard part for any small or business startup is how do you
Mhm.
get marketing? How do you get your name out there? How do you get recognized? So she had that out the gate. Like,
Yeah. But
nailed.
nailed. But then you see that it's family run,
Yeah.
which necessarily doesn't mean it's going to be run well. But this is, I feel like employing the family is a pitfall a lot of companies can run into, a lot of family businesses, right? Because you feel like there's some obligation to help your family
Yeah. And I think
if you can make it work.
and you fall in that startup trap too, where, in the beginning, you feel like, oh, they're going to work hard with me
Mhm.
because they want to see joint success. And,
Yeah.
we know each other and we're going to, go
Make it,
hard.
yeah. But it's like a social capital, right? And we've had this conversation before, and that social capital is really expensive. You
Yes.
feel like you have some duty to help your friends, help your family. Okay, I'm going to give you a job, right? Like you see this with Travis Kelsey's foundation right now, and he got into some hot water because of it.
Hmm.
He employed, I think, two of his friends who ran a management company, and it turns out, I guess, they were only donating like 60 cents to every dollar to actual programs as a 501(c)(3), which
It's
most
legal.
it's legal, right? There's nothing illegal about that, but it is not ideal.
Right.
The ideal ratio, I think, is like 80 to 90 cents for every dollar is dedicated to programs.
Right.
And he wasn't doing that. And then I guess they were using the branding company to pay for certain things that which some people don't think you should be paying for as a 5 or as a nonprofit, so on and so forth. But it's the trap of employing your friends and your family.
Yeah.
And
Avoid it
how do you get
if
around
possible.
that? Avoid it if possible?
Yeah. I just think because it always ends. I always try to think of how's it going to end,
Mhm.
right? And
Do
it
you?
never ends well. Well, when I hire people,
Yeah.
like when you hire some random person, like you can see the end is easy. If it doesn't work out, we'll part, and I'll never see them again. Or we part as friends. They go on, they get a better jobs opportunity I couldn't provide for them, and they go and are successful. But when it's your family, it's like, how do you motivate them if they are underperforming? And
Mhm.
then if they are, when you get rid of them, how do you disassociate your personal relationship with your business relationship? And I
Mhm.
think we've had that discussion a lot. It is extremely difficult to do that. And I think some people handle it better and are able to say, I can understand that you're making a business decision about me, and that could be different than we're friends,
Yeah.
which is hard,
We
hard,
just
hard, hard to do.
we just ran into this past week with
Yeah, it's difficult.
there was a brand we were partnering with, but friends with the CEO or friends with one of the heads of the company, and then had to make a decision that wasn't favorable and threw the friendship in there and like, well, I thought we were friends and so on and so forth. And
Hmm.
like, don't do that. Don't do that. You have to be able to separate it. And if you can't, don't do business with your friends.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, moving on to the brands that got it right. And this brand is one that jumps out to me because our sons are like ape shit over it.
Which is,
Jordan.
yes.
Jordan. The Jordan cleats, the Jordan tennis shoes, the Jordan basketball shoes, the Jordan emblems,
Yeah.
and yet I guarantee you neither one of them have ever seen Jordan play.
No, they have.
Right? So this brand is what, 40, 50 years old?
Probably, yeah.
How old's Jordan?
Yeah, it's probably 40 some years old. I think there's a great documentary about this
Yeah.
that, Netflix just did a
Did
couple
they?
couple years ago.
Did we
Yeah.
watch it?
No,
Are you
maybe
sure?
we haven't. Maybe
Weren't
we
his
should.
eyes yellow?
Well, no, that was a documentary on the Bulls.
Okay.
Yes, but no, there's a documentary on the Jordan
Oh,
Jordan concept.
interesting.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we have to watch it with the boys, maybe, but
Yeah.
it might not be for them. But it's really around how Nike was like not even a big brand. They
Mm.
were struggling in the sneaker business. They were behind a lot of the others, and they decided instead of taking their meager marketing budget and putting it on a couple athletes, they just put it all on one
Mm-hmm.
and create a brand around this guy,
And
and it worked
it just so happened to work.
because they had the business people that were really focused on it, and they partnered that business and operational capacity with a celebrity to push product
Absolutely.
and launch a brand.
Yeah. So I think in this brand, they used the celebrity as the accelerator,
Right.
right? Not the strategy. They weren't asking Michael Jordan to run the company.
No,
They weren't asking him to help with distribution.
no, they were asking him for, creative
Yeah.
input
Yeah.
and to be the brand ambassador.
Yep.
And I think if you look at like a lot of Ryan Reynolds businesses, like Mint Mobile, he had a aviation gin. He has a lot of these businesses that he and the Wrexham team, like that one, I think he's operating a bit, but he hired professionals to operate it. But the other ones, he was in and basically in his lane of
Hmm.
I'm going to handle marketing and strategy. That's me. Professionals are doing all the other stuff, and they've all been incredibly successful
Yeah.
because he's really good at the marketing aspect. And if I got that covered and I partner with solid operational delivery folks, we can have a winning team.
And who doesn't love Deadpool? Who
Everybody,
doesn't love Ryan Reynolds?
everybody loves Deadpool.
Right. I
Hmm.
mean, that's a good celebrity to have behind your brand.
Yeah, need to get him on the pot. Get behind the pot.
Yep. Okay. Beats by Dre.
Beats by Dre. Another one.
That's
I'm
another
sure.
one.
I'm sure he didn't. Wasn't the engineer behind the headphones.
How
But
long have we owned Beats? I think that was Michaela's first pair of headphones, was a pair of Beats,
yes.
and she was like 2. And we got them not because they were Beats by Dre, but because of how they fit on her little tiny toddler head
Mm-hmm.
when we were flying back and forth from LA to California
L.A. to Virginia.
or LA to Virginia.
Yeah. No, and he did great because he was known in the music industry. So who better to pitch an audio?
But Beats by Dre was his company to begin with, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it got purchased by
who were they acquired?
Apple.
Was it Apple?
I think Apple bought him.
Yeah, I think you can buy Beats by Dre inside of
Yeah, I
the
think
Apple
Apple
store.
bought him. Yeah.
So you have Dr. Dre, who is like this hardcore cultural rapper icon. I guarantee you our kids have never ever listened to them, but they all know
Yeah.
Beats by Dre.
Mm-hmm.
So clear roles,
Yeah.
clear positioning. Dr. Dre was not running the company.
Yeah, but he was. Yeah, it was a product that had a market, right? It had a problem it was solving. Like, hey, since the creation of the Walkman, you've had these little puffy, shitty earphones,
Yeah.
right? And then Apple had come out with this thing to put in your ear, which is kind of abrasive, hurts a little bit, and was still had the strings
Hmm.
and wasn't the best. And he created a high functioning, cordless, Bluetooth enabled kind of headphone that
Yeah.
fit on your head and was comfortable to wear.
Yeah, and I remember before that, we had, like, the Sony headphones, but
Yeah, we
same
had like the
thing.
podcast ones, like or not pod, they were radio like quality ones,
Yeah,
like high def, and they were sounded amazing. But you had this huge cord; they were very big,
yeah,
hard to travel with.
bulky,
Yeah,
unattractive,
yeah,
and yet here comes Beats with the perfect solution for a problem nobody knew they had.
yeah. Where everyone had the problem, they just there wasn't anything to fix it. So you were like,
Mhm.
why dwell on a problem you can't solve?
Yeah. Okay, so my favorite brand that we're gonna talk about today, and it's not my favorite brand because I actually don't like the clothing. I don't wear any of the products.
Hmm.
I'm their marketing practices are kind of questionable. I try to stay away from fast fashion, but Skims, ugh, I love this brand. I love what they've built.
Yeah, I think they knocked it out of the park when it comes
My
to
God.
pairing operational delivery team with a celebrity kind of
Yes.
marketer slash innovator.
And let's give Kim Kardashian her roses. Like, her beginnings weren't the greatest, but let's be honest, nobody's were. I feel like my beginning was a little questionable. I was a bit of a disaster when I was in high school.
Hmm.
Um, Same with you. You're a bit of a disaster.
Maybe.
Yeah. But we all got it together.
Yeah.
And she is a brilliant businesswoman.
Yeah, that whole bit that family's got it down.
So you have Kim Kardashian, who is she's the celebrity for starters, but then she's also the creative director.
Yeah.
But then you back it up with the powerhouse of Emma Grede and Jens Grede. And
Yeah, and that was that great combination of, marketing and business acumen and operational delivery, and the fact that they were solving a problem, like the the boutique kind of, I don't know what you call that.
the boutique experience of buying a bra
Yeah.
sucks.
So
It's terrible. It's uncomfortable. The products don't quite fit right. Like, it was all around bad.
yeah, and they just took this shapewear, which was kind of like a stagnant from like the 1940s
Mhm.
corset kind of shapewear stuff, and they were like, let's revolutionize this and make it comfortable. Let's make it form fitting for anything. So you can wear it with t-shirts, you can wear it with whatever. And they came out with so they solved a real world problem.
Yes.
They had a celebrity person to be able to get the marketing done right and also be an ambassador for the products you'd wear it.
Mhm.
And then they had the operational delivery team. So all the ingredients were there and they had a great product market fit. The market was there for what they were building and selling.
Yes.
And then they had the ability to reach that market.
And now you go into their stores and they're very curated. A Skim store is like a work of art. It's almost like walking into MoMA in New
Yeah.
York.
And I think the other difference here is they started out like direct to consumer, like
Yes.
online versus House of
Darion.
Darion did more like partnerships with Macy's and all these stores.
I think that's an unfair comparison though, because back in the 90s, there
Maybe
wasn't a
there
lot of
wasn't.
DTC and e-commerce,
Yeah, perhaps. But
right?
from a strategy perspective, being direct to consumer, the consumer is the lifeblood of your company, right?
Yes.
That's how you're going to make your revenue targets and make profit and all that. And owning that relationship versus outsourcing that relationship. So when you have that direct to consumer, you can get that instant feedback. You can help curate the product. And then you also own all the data about your customers, which is extremely valuable.
Yes.
And when you outsource that and there's a buffer in between that or a proxy, now the customer relationship is owned by Macy's. The
Yes.
customer relationship is owned by Foot Locker or whomever. And now you are only doing business with
Yeah.
Macy's and Foot Locker. So you getting that feedback loop is harder. And how do you, directly target or market or message to that customer? It's really hard
Yeah.
because you're not going to have that direct relationship and you don't own that customer data. So if you don't own that, who owns what do you actually own?
Yes.
You're just making products and you're a wholesaler.
For sure. And I don't think I've actually ever bought a piece of Skims clothing from the store. I usually just if I like their sleep bras because they're just really tiny and small and fit well, and I buy them online.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably it's kind of like Apple, a lot of these places.
It's with anything.
You want a boutique that looks amazing, and
Yes.
which means it's very sparse in terms of what it carries.
Mhm.
And you go in there and you see it, you touch it, you get that tactical feel, and then you buy it online.
Yes.
And I think that's probably what they want anyway, because they want to drop ship it to you. They want to have your credit card in the database. They want to have you fill out they can mail to you and market to you. But
And you have to think it's also, what is it? A shoplifting thing too, right? Because if you're in Georgetown, like the Georgetown aloe got hit for like $20,000,
yeah,
right? So imagine having less product in the store is probably more advantageous for the company as well.
yeah. And I'm sure like today's culture, there's very few people. I mean, I do it sometimes, but there's very few that because I'm an instant gratification kind of person. When I
And
spend the
yet
money, I
you
want it.
but you buy something and then it takes you like months to wear it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't understand that.
Because when I exchange my money for goods, I want the good.
Even though you won't use them?
It doesn't matter. It's in my closet and I get to look at it.
Okay.
And then eventually, when an occasion arises that precipitates me saying, okay, now I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna rip the tag off now, and now I'll wear
That's a choice.
it. It is.
Love
And
that for you.
that often takes weeks to months. Just the way I'm wired.
Yeah. Yeah. Back to Skims.
Yeah.
No, but walking into their store, it's really pretty. I just need to take you into one so you can understand it. Like,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. And it's so perfectly curated and all the busts, there's different sizes, right? It's very inclusive. You've got somebody who's a 0 and then you've got somebody who's a 22 and everything in between. And I think that's where she really nailed it is the sheer availability of all of the products from all of the sizes and for every body shape and good for her.
Yeah. I think that's
You've got
kind of
rectangle shape like me, and then you've got hourglass shape like some other women.
you're ridiculous.
I'm very aware of my downfalls, my shortcomings.
Okay.
Um,
I think it's a good juxtaposition between the two, like why one was successful and why the others weren't. And I think a lot of lessons can be translated into any business you start, whether you have a celebrity marketer or not.
yeah.
It's really, getting the right team together
I think
and
that's the biggest
having,
factor.
that team understand who's in what lane.
Clearly defined roles from day one.
Yeah. And then what is your strategy? And then is that strategy scalable and defendable? Is it a business that you can build a moat around and defend, or is it one that's just another Me Too
Mhm.
and yeah, doesn't actually solve a pain point for a customer every day?
Yeah, it's
Like,
are you really solving a problem,
yeah,
or are you just putting more shit into the world that we don't need?
yeah, and yeah, a solution looking for a problem, and
Yeah.
those normally aren't successful.
No. And then emotional decision making, right? Like if you're emotionally so invested in the product that you're not willing to take any feedback or criticism, then I think that's a non-starter right there.
Yeah, it's
Right? You have to
who
be
are you
able to
designing the
separate
product
yourself.
for? Like,
Yeah.
who's the end customer? What's the market? And are you solving your customer's problem, or are you just doing a passion project?
Which is fine. I mean, if this is a passion project for you, great.
Right. If
I
it's a
love
passion project, then you're like, okay, what is the market for this passion? Like, I was gonna say Jellycats, but apparently Jellycat's fucking huge. But let's say I am building these one of a kind skull vases. I'm just making something up.
okay.
And maybe there's a market of like, at the Ren Fen, there's like, 1,000 other people that love this mug.
Yeah.
Then,
How did you go from skull vases to mugs?
I don't know. And maybe Voss is a mug. I don't know. Whatever you're building,
Yeah.
making, manufacturing, selling, like if the market is small, that's fine. You can have a niche market and a product that serves a very niche problem.
Mhm.
But what you can't have is, your addressable market being 1,000 people. And then you have an idea that you think you're going to build a company worth billions,
Mhm.
right? If your market's only 1,000 people, you can only charge that and you're charging, $10 a vase, right? That's kind of your revenue. That's your obtainable market share.
Yes.
And maybe you could sell them a new mug every year with a different design, but it's not going to be, this rapid scalable revenue model
Yeah.
versus I've got a problem that, 90% of the population deals with, or like Skims, maybe 50% of the population, 52% of the population is women, and you're targeting women, and maybe 80% of those women want shapewear. So you got your market right there
Yeah.
versus House of
Darion.
Darion. It's like, okay, what is that? Was it for women? Okay. So it's the same 52%, but of those 52%, how many want that or need that style?
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of high fashion is built the same way. And I think Skims does some interesting stuff, kind of like Apple, and a lot of the higher end where they do limited release stuff where you're creating artificial demand because you're limiting supply.
Yes.
And because
Similar to a Jellycat that can only be bought from the Jellycat
exactly. So I
store
mean that is
in New
that
York.
yeah, supply side you know economics there. If you
Mhm.
and it's like some of those high end designer bags. You know, it costs a lot to buy them because there's just not so many of them.
Yes.
And the manufacturing quality is supposedly better because it's handcrafted. But if you only produce 1,000, like Rolexes, they only produce so many.
Mhm.
So it creates a demand because there's only the scarcity of it.
Mhm. And then I also think it has to do with your systems, right? The one thing that Skims did right is the ease of being able to purchase their products,
Hmm.
right? It's so easy. You just go bloop, 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 bloop.
Well,
It's
that's
kind of like
almost everything now.
Amazon.
Yeah,
Well,
Amazon.
now,
If you can buy anything on Amazon, but the difference between Amazon and Skims is right. If you're a drop shipper or you're making something and you sell it through Amazon, Amazon owns all that customer data. Amazon owns the relationship with the customer. You do not, right?
is that true?
Yeah, you're a wholesaler.
So if you're a wholesaler on Amazon, you don't get access to the.
I don't think you get access to this customer's data. You're not going to get their credit cards. You're not going to get their email address. You're
Oh,
not going to get
really?
all. Well, how would you if you go to
I don't
buy it off
know.
Apple? Amazon, you just a couple clicks and you bought it.
That's
I think
interesting.
you're just a wholesaler. You're just fulfilling orders, order fulfillment.
Huh. Now I want to test that.
Well, you sell books on Amazon. You don't get everybody's email that bought the book.
My publisher sells books on Amazon.
Right.
I don't know how that works. Not sure. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Something to look into. Um, but that just also made me think of there's this one company that I use for makeup
Okay.
and not buying makeup, but actually makeup services. And I go to this company because it is so easy to book an appointment. Their online system, and this isn't an ad, this is just, it made me think of this. And because as a consumer, I want things to be simple, right? I don't have to call anybody to schedule a makeup appointment for somebody to come do my glam, right?
Yeah.
For TV
I think
shows or
that goes for any company.
yeah,
Any product you're selling, you want to reduce the friction and the barriers to selling.
yeah.
And I can tell you firsthand, having done a services-based business like SaaS business. Look at SaaS business. How
SaaS
easy
business,
is it to buy a license, a
yeah.
software, right? And it didn't used to be that way when you
Mhm.
had to like buy software and they ship you a DVD or CD or floppy disk or whatever back in the day. And even doing service, but you look at, okay, what's my buyer's profile? The person buying it. If I'm trying to sell, you know, a service at $40,000, right, or $70,000, and you realize, oh, the people that want to buy my product, a lot of times they may have budgetary approval for up to 50,000, so that influences how you want to price it. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, it has to go through the procurement channels even if it's 50,000. Okay, what's the easiest way to get the procurement channel? Do I need a master services agreement? Can I do it as a purchase order? How do I get it purchased? And finding all those things out to say, okay, here's the lowest friction possible way to sell it.
Mhm.
And then that's how you go sell.
Yeah.
Because if it's a high touch, high friction to buy, oftentimes the sale will fall apart, right?
Yes.
Time kills all deals.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I think the bottom line of this episode is that celebrity brands are basically just a startup who they've got a little bit of a head start.
Yeah, they definitely have a head start in the marketing aspect, but even, there's no guarantee of success just because you're a celebrity. Just
Yeah.
like there's no guarantee of success just because you have the best product or because you were first to market. Like a lot of those things are phenomenal, but if you don't have the right pairing of business acumen, operational delivery, and
Cash flow.
sales and marketing, right? There's a lot of things that go into doing it right, but
Mhm.
there's oftentimes like you could be the best salesperson in the world and create a company that has an incredible top line revenue growth. But if you don't have great operational delivery folks that understand customer success and understand, delivering value to the end customers, eventually, you're just plugging holes because whatever you're bringing in on the top is just coming right out of the bottom in churn.
Yeah. Well,
Well, then
where are we going from here, sir?
we need to find ourselves a celebrity.
I mean, there's no guarantee.
No, but we have the right business and operational acumen.
Be your own celebrity.
No, I don't want to do that. That sounds hard.
No, it's not.
I don't want to be a celebrity. That's how we started this whole thing off. Like, there's too much pressure with celebrity.
There is.
Right? We don't want to do that.
Well, and okay, I was interviewed to be on a reality TV show. Was it last year?
I think it was last year.
Yeah, we went through a few rounds of, and I won't say what show it is, but we went through a few rounds of the interviews, and ultimately we decided that it wasn't a good fit. Like I'm a little bit more reserved when it comes to real life and what I expose my children to, right? You don't see our kids on social media.
We just thought we're not high drama.
We're not high drama, but we're also very protective of our kids, our relationship, what we show online.
Yeah, marriage is hard enough as it is. You don't need to add other people into the bedroom.
It's,
Right?
yeah, it's just like outside opinions
Yeah.
that we don't want.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that, like with the couple you were talking about in the beginning, shit like that happens.
Yeah.
You start to inject undue stress.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if it's a newer relationship, like stress is hard.
Well, they've been together since they were 14,
Oh,
which I
yeah.
think also that like 16 years, 16, 20 years of their life that you've been with one person and throw it all away.
Maybe it was because of the renovation. Renovations are very hard on marriages. I think statistics say that those contribute to divorce.
We've made it through how many renovations?
At least 3 or 4.
We've made it through 3 renovations.
And we've done lots of like house renos for like rental properties together.
Yeah.
Call each other yeah.
Am I boring you?
Yeah. No. No. I'm cold. When I'm cold, I get tired.
Fitzgerald. All right. Our dogs are losing it, so I think we're going to wrap this thing up.
I think it is.
Any parting words? No? Have you said all your words?
I don't know. I don't have any words.
You feel good?
Parting words. What's the parting word? House of Darion. Duran. Dilion?
Darion.
Darion.
The House of Darion. Also, what does pat your weave mean?
Oh, that's when you got to scratch your head.
Yeah. Yes.
I know that one.
Taught you
Now, I love, there's nothing like a little kid inside. When I see somebody do it, I'm like, oh, I know what you're doing.
I have introduced so much culture into your life.
You have.
Oh.
And I've given you, 5 wonderful babies. And, the love for meat and spice. Frank's Red Hot. Like, look at all the amazing things I've
I
given you.
know. Culture and spice.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to Married to the Startup. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please take a moment to like, rate, and subscribe to our podcast. Your support helps us reach more people and keeps the conversation going. If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, drop me a message. I love hearing from you guys. Until next time.